Hi guys and welcome back to Movies That Matter with the Viking, and DC fandom is right around the corner. This day a week the event will kick off, the virtual 24-hour Comic-Con, with so many panels. Got to do with Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Shazam, Zack Snyder's Justice League, the Batman, Suicide Squad. Got to do with the CW comic books, and many more things. It really is packed, and you can go straight to the DC fandom website. You can register, you can get your planner ready to see each panel one after the other. You get to decide which panel you watch, and it's going to be a fun, never before seen weekend of awesome DC content. It's a wet DC fans' dream, it really is, and I absolutely can't wait. But I want to do a prediction video, or things that I would love to see happen at DC fandom. Now look, some of these are coming from a fanboy. Some of these things might not happen. Some of these things might seem unrealistic. Some of these things might happen, they might not happen, but it's just me having some fun, being a little bit fanboy, being a little bit excited, maybe too excited for DC fandom, and what I would love to expect to come out of the virtual Comic-Con. I'm sure you all have predictions as well. Make sure you let me know. But here we go. Here's my predictions, my hopes for DC fandom. Now, of course, Ben Affleck for me is the greatest Batman of all time. And what would I love nothing more than a DC fandom we get confirmation that Ben Affleck has signed a new deal with Warner Bros., with HBO Max, with whoever, I don't care who it is, to come back as the Dark Knight. And maybe there's a few announcements that are being kept secret of movie titles and movie productions that are going to happen in the future, got to do with DC content. And look, anybody can guess now. We don't know exactly what they're going to be, but I'm going to predict that Ben Affleck will be confirmed or reconfirmed, or talk of him coming back for more Batman films. Now this is just hope. As a DC, as a Ben Affleck fanboy, I hope this happens, or we get some sort of confirmation from Ben about the role. Next, the Suicide Squad game. The new title is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. What a badass title, and I can't wait for this. And so many people are excited because Rocksteady made the Arkham trilogy, and now they are making this, so this gets people pumped up. But what do I expect to see at DC fandom? They'll have their own panel. What will I expect to see is I expect to see like a cinematic style trailer to show us kind of what's going on. I think that would be really cool, and I think we'll get some sort of small gameplay. They've been working on this for the last few years, so I'm sure they have something ready, something big ready, especially since they have their own panel. So I'm expecting a live action cinematic trailer of sorts, and then a little bit of gameplay, probably showing us what characters will be featured in this Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game. For quite some time now, hashtag release the Schumacher Cut has been going. We know there's a Red Book edition of the Schumacher Batman Forever cut of 1995. Hugely successful film back in the days. Val Kilmer, I thought, was a very good Batman, but Val Kilmer will be appearing at DC fandom, and this has got people, especially of that taste, really excited. Now, will he be there to announce the Schumacher Cut? I'm not too sure. He will be there to show off some artwork that's inspired him throughout the years since he donned the cape of Batman. But I will predict that he will talk about the Schumacher Cut. I don't expect a full announcement, but I expect him to address the Schumacher Cut in some sorts, maybe building some hype. Warner Bros., HBO Max testing the waters whether or not it would be beneficial for them to release the Schumacher Cut, especially with the coronavirus still causing difficulties for production and new productions. The Schumacher Cut to be released on HBO Max, I think, would do very well. I think they will test the waters or tease it at DC fandom. We know for a fact that Zack Snyder will show us his very first trailer for Zack Snyder's Justice League. How long will it be? I'm going to predict that it will be 3 to 4 minutes. If you remember the Batman vs Superman trailer and the Justice League trailer, they all had very lengthy trailers. And this is the first official one with no compromise from Zack Snyder. So I'm guessing that he will give us something to talk about. 3 to 4 minutes of a trailer. And also, I think we will get our very first look at the OG Steppenwolf. I think him sharing this image the other day was a tease from Zack Snyder, kind of getting, maybe catching us off guard when we actually get to see him in the trailer, because here it's not completely done, it's not completely finished, but I think Zack Snyder has Steppenwolf done, or done enough for the trailer to show us. I think it's kind of, he's trying to catch us off guard, thinking that we think he doesn't have it completely done yet, but I think he does. So I think we're going to get a 3 to 4 minute trailer of Justice League, which will also feature Steppenwolf heavily. So that will be great to see the OG Steppenwolf come back into the Snyderverse, and I absolutely can't wait. So much talk about Green Lantern, about Sam Benjamin being Green Lantern in Zack Snyder's Justice League, but many people have said that he is not Green Lantern, and people have been saying that there is possibilities for Ryan Reynolds to come back to the DC universe. He wants to come back. It doesn't look like Disney's going to use Deadpool going forward at the moment. I think it would be a big win for DC, for Warner Bros., for HBO Max, if they were to get the second biggest, highest paid star in the world, Ryan Reynolds, in the DC universe. They already have the number one, The Rock, so this will be brilliant. I do think at DC Fandom, Ryan Reynolds will crash the Justice League panel, the Zack Snyder panel, and he will be revealed to be returning to the DC universe. Will they do additional photography with Ryan Reynolds for a cameo? I hope so. I think this will happen. I think this is a huge possibility, and I think at DC Fandom, Ryan Reynolds will make an appearance and hype it up big time for the HBO Max in 2021. Matt Reeves and the cast of the Batman will be at DC Fandom. Now, people are saying and expecting a trailer. I do not think we'll get a full trailer because they've only have 25% of production done. The coronavirus put a huge halt in their production and shooting of the film. What I do think we'll get, I think we'll get some sort of a small tease, maybe a small bit of a scene, but more or less a featurette of behind the scenes and the process that Matt Reeves, Robin Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz, and the rest of the cast are going through. They'll talk about the process. I think we'll get more of a kind of like a featurette instead of an actual trailer, but definitely a little bit of footage, maybe a scene that they've done. But because 25% has only been done of the Batman, and they're in struggles at the minute to try and get it done for the release of October 2021, I don't expect a full trailer. I don't even expect a 2-minute trailer. I expect a small scene and a featurette about the process of what's happening on the Batman. Another big question and want from fans is the Ayer cut. Will it be announced at DC Fandom? I'm not fully convinced that it will be announced. I'm really not. But I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to have some hope, and I'm going to say that we will get some confirmation that the Ayer cut is coming to HBO Max in 2021 or 2022. Maybe one of those surprise panels is the Ayer cut. Maybe David Ayer will show up. I think it would be pretty badass if the Joker, Jared Leto, Harley Quinn, David Ayer showed up and said, look, the extended cut or the director's cut of the Suicide Squad film will be coming to HBO Max. That's me with a lot of a lot of hope. Do I think it's actually going to happen? I have my doubts, but I also have some hope. So hopefully the Ayer cut gets announced. Henry Cavill's Superman. Will he appear on the Zack Snyder panel? Will he appear on the Black Adam panel? Or will he appear in his very own panel to announce a Man of Steel sequel? I don't think he's going to be on Zack Snyder's panel. I think the panel that he will be on is either on the Black Adam panel or to announce Man of Steel 2 or 3, whatever you want to call it, the sequel to Man of Steel. Now, why would he appear in the Black Adam? I think he will appear in the Black Adam film. I think they will have a cameo in that film, setting up future films for him and The Rock to go at it one-on-one. I think that would be a great box office move from Warner Brothers for the cinematic world. But I think there's a strong possibility that Man of Steel 2 will be announced. There will be a Black Adam panel. The Rock will be there, and some of the cast. Noah Centineo has been the only other person who's been cast as Adam Smasher. I think Armie Hammer will be confirmed for Hawkman at DC Fandom on the panel with The Rock. I think we're going to get a lot of casting announcements for that film because we haven't heard much so far, and this is one of my predictions that Armie Hammer, who Warner Brothers wanted as Batman in the past, and they've wanted to cast him in the DC universe, in the DC world for so many years, but I think this is finally the time he gets to nail a DC role, and I think that will come in Black Adam, and he will portray Hawkman. We know that the Justice Society of America is going to be a big part of that film, and I think Armie Hammer will be perfect as Hawkman. Now, if you go back and watch my review for Swamp Thing Season 1, you'll know that I think it's absolutely brilliant. Really enjoyed the season. 10 solid episodes, and it was such a shame that it was cancelled after just one episode. But now, I think it will be revived. I think a Season 2 will happen of Swamp Thing, and I think absolutely it deserves it. Now, why will this happen? I know there was big concerns over the budget and they got all that wrong, and it was a complete mess with the plan that was made at the time. But with Stargirl moving from the DC universe, and it's not going to HBO Max, not yet anyway, but it's going to the CW. Now, during the pandemic, during lockdown, CW didn't have many shows to put on, and they wanted to keep their viewers fresh. So what did they put on? They put on Swamp Thing Season 1. I think this will lead to an announcement that Swamp Thing Season 2 will be announced, but it will be moved to CW, just like Stargirl has been. And I would be absolutely thrilled with that. I know it's Stargirl, but they've been saying that the Stargirl show will keep the same tone, keep the same everything, even though it's on CW, the production value won't go down. So I hope the same happens to Swamp Thing, because it really deserves a top-notch show, great acting, great performances. Two men who are very good friends, Zack Schneider and Jay Olivia. Now, the two of them have an animation show that's going to come to Netflix. But I think there's a huge possibility that some sort of comic book DC related animated film will be announced at DC Fandom, with Jay Olivia to direct and Zack Schneider on board to produce, and the two of them working together. Because Jay Olivia has been very open to the idea, and it's been a discussion about Zack Schneider's universe going forward, that some of it could be animated, and Jay Olivia said it could work, it could be pulled off, and he would love to direct stuff in that Schneiderverse. So I think there's a huge possibility that an animated film is announced from these two, which would be absolutely badass. So that's another one of my predictions, and hope that this does happen. If they can do it on Netflix, why not do it for HBO Max going forward? But guys, those are my predictions, my hopes for DC Fandom next week. Now, I don't know anything. These are just a fan of DC content. This is what I would love to be announced. Even if half of this was announced, that would be awesome. Hopefully I get some right. I'm sure I'll get some wrong, but imagine if all of them happened, and DC Fandom would be the greatest thing of all time. But guys, let me know your predictions, your hopes for DC Fandom. I just did this to have a little bit of fun. Hopefully I get some right. I can go back and look at this video and talk to you guys about what I got right, what I got wrong, and what kind of stuff happened at DC Fandom. I can't wait to cover it with you guys next week. But guys, let me know. Give a like, comment, subscribe. Come follow me on all the social media. Talk about the one thing we love, which is movies. And until next time, guys, always remember, DC Fandom is 1 week away, and hopefully all of our prayers will be answered.